For us, this exhibition is the story of our lives and our experience and what we survived. It's also about what the women today are facing on the streets and what they're surviving. And it's also about women who didn't survive. And it's dedicated to 14 women that we knew and we loved, who passed away through violence, drug addiction, murder. So we want to highlight this. We want to shatter the stigma involved in street prostitution, domestic violence, coercion, exploitation, poverty, anything with stigma. It's around, childhood trauma, anything around stigma. We want to shatter that. We want to bring a conversation. We want to start the hard discussion until people realise truly what street prostitutes face. Nothing's going to change. And they're not just street prostitutes. These are women who have been facing multiple disadvantages all their lives. So they have all these disadvantages before they even become street prostitutes. So that's what we're trying to highlight today. I was a street prostitute for 10 years. I got raped, I got attacked, I got spat at and abused in the street. When you're a street prostitute, that is normal. And it's a harsh world. I spent most of my life feeling like I'd been discarded by society, like nobody gave a shit. Nobody. I was literally begging for help and nobody would help me. And we want better services for women. I come out of prison after 2 short sentences and I was straight back out on the streets working. And I had 3 decisions, 3 choices really. I was going to die as an addict, die as a street prostitute, or I was going to keep going back to prison. And I went into a hostel with a woman's floor, so I felt quite safe and secure. And that was the start to me turning my life around. I was in the hostel nearly 2 years, and last week I celebrated 15 years in recovery.
That's good.
15 years.
Congratulations. Holbeck in Leeds.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
It is, yeah. What they called it at first? They called it a safe zone.
Yeah. And
you can't put safe and prostitution in the same sentence. There's nothing safe about it. So now they call it a managed zone. But that's not the solution either. The solution to street prostitution, to help women escape street prostitution, is better help and support. And with all the budget cuts, with not just this government but consecutive governments over 15, 20 years, they've cut the services to the bone. And the staff are doing their best, but they can't do enough with such a tiny, tiny little budget. And until the government and local councils realise that, then it's going to continue. Vulnerable women are going to continue dying. 2 women a week die from domestic abuse alone. Street prostitutes are 12 times more likely to be murdered than any other woman. My name's Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
Well, I'm an ex-working girl. I've not been working now for 5 years. I used to work many years ago. I followed my mother into prostitution. She was a drug addict, alcoholic. I sort of followed suit. I thought it was an easy way of making money. It wasn't until I was a prostitute for a year or so that I started getting involved in drugs in that area, because it blocks out the pain of actually having to sell your body for sex and for money, to put food on the table for your kids and stuff. But the last 4 or 5 years I've been campaigning to make things better for street working girls, highlighting their situation, the stigma around their lifestyle. It's not a chosen lifestyle. I think it's something that people generally either fall into or are forced into because of certain situations. So Hull City Council took up because they were persecuting women who was from multi-disadvantaged backgrounds and making it worse. They wasn't charging with the clients. They wasn't charging the clients, just getting the girls arrested and so on and so on. So we won that case anyway. So moving forward, we're connecting with lots of different other agencies to bring this to light, to make things more available for women working street prostitution. You know, they need to get out of this thing. And when there's a seat at the table, everybody from every angle of support network need to be at that table in order to help these women get out. I've not been a prostitute now for 5 years. I haven't been a street working prostitute for 27 years. So, you know, it's a good way to get out, help other people out, yeah. I was attacked back in 1995 by a client, and the same client murdered a girl. We as an Untold Story Voices want to give people who don't have a voice a platform to speak out about, you know, their traumas, their lifestyle, and ways to get back out of that.
We did our group, an Untold Story Voices. This was a collaboration with Henry Bragg Photographers, but it's come at the end of a really long process of campaigning for like 5 years against some specific legislation in Hull which targets street sex workers in particular with a very outdated loophole from the Local Government Act 1972. It's gone now because we took the council to court. It was a small group. We had some support from a legal charity. So we've managed to get that discharged now, but in its wake, basically, we need to make sure that there's a culture change so that the same dangerous criminalising impact isn't recreated in a different form, which could easily happen, especially with new powers like COVID, the police COVID powers. So unless we have an understanding of why these women deserve the respect and protection of the criminal justice of the police, unless there's a proper understanding of why they are equal, and why we actually, if we can acknowledge that our country is still run on biased judgments against those deemed unrespectable, that's, you know, that this is still basically the core of why our legal system in respect to prostitution is what it is and doesn't recognise the vulnerabilities of people.